Computer. Welcome back, everybody, to On the DL with Dara and Linds. I am Dara,
And I'm Linds.
and we
Listen,
decided for Lindsay's still trying to figure out her microphone. She just keeps going around and around. We decided for this one, we're having coffee time with witches. So it is 10 a.m. for me. It is 7 a.m. for Linds. I'm waiting for my coffee right now. She's got her lion's mane.
because,
We're
I was
we're
thinking about
both in
this when I
bed,
was going out
right?
to my car. Oh, yeah, I'm in bed.
Okay, yeah,
This is
same.
great. I did put clothes on. You're welcome.
Same. I did
Um,
too.
I was like, I don't want to put clothes on.
Well, I mean, for the podcast world, they wouldn't know if we didn't tell them, but if like anybody watches this on YouTube, then
They
they'd
would
see the
know.
clothing.
Yeah. This
I
thing
see
still
dead
doesn't
people.
sound right. Can I get a rock drop?
Rock drop.
Rock drop, please.
The amount of
Um,
times that I've needed a rock for our adventures via Zoom to say
oh, I
drop,
know.
I've been slacking.
Yeah, man.
I
You
know.
have. Where's Rock? Where's Rock?
Rock,
I
I'm
love
looking at
you, but
Rock.
you've
I
been
just don't
slacking.
want to get out of bed now to get Rock. So Rock is here in this room.
Well, when your coffee comes, maybe Rock will come with your coffee.
I can make some gestures and be like,
Yeah. Be like, hey, can you get me that?
give me
That thing over there.
that
Yeah, give
rock.
it. Dude,
Oh,
I found, on the topic of rocks, I found
okay.
like cool. Why does this still sound?
I feel like it sounds fine.
Okay, as long as it sounds fine for you, it's.
Ramadasa. Sase Soham.
Lit-
For all of those. So I did a Kundalini dude yesterday. I had a day. It was like the best day, but I was
Yeah, dude.
flying high. Oh my God. Actually, I have a story for you too. So I want to text you last night. We were doing our Valentine's dinner, but we were at Valentine's dinner, and I was like, I gotta tell Lindsay this after. So, I taught a Kundalini class in the morning, full
Hmm.
hour,
Yep.
and then came home, paid, made made a little drinky drink,
Mhm.
set up the computer, and then went right into the moon circle, taught Kundalini again. I was like, ah, like my energy was off the charts.
Oh
And
my God.
so I didn't eat all morning, like all morning, all afternoon. So went and got poke bowls,
Hmm.
chilled. We went out for Valentine's dinner. Okay, so we're at Valentine's dinner. And I'm like, I can see your energy moving. It was like I was on drugs.
You didn't take
I was,
anything?
I didn't take a thing. I didn't drink anything. I had Diet Coke to the point where I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if someone put something in my drink. Like I was literally seeing
Oh.
the energy trails. I know so nobody put anything in my drink. I literally watch people make Diet Coke bring it
Yeah,
over.
no, no, I know.
But
But like
I
an
was
aura?
literally like an aura, but it was like James would move his hand and I'd
Yeah.
see
Oh, and
like
you'd
the
see like a
energy
rainbow.
trail of him moving. And I'm
Yeah.
like, when I move, do you see anything like that? I'm like, is it the lighting? And he was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm tripping balls. Like he would move. And then we got home at night and we were laying in bed. And I'm like looking up at my ceiling and it's
Mhm.
like all like the energetic like waves and I'm like, I'm seeing shit again. I'm like, well, I
Oh,
guess
you got
doing
some
Kundalini all day
sort
will
of
do that to
upgrade.
you.
Yeah.
Because
That's
he was
so
saying, he's like, yeah,
interesting.
dude, your Kundalini does something. Because he was sharing his experiences with me, and like, he's like, every time. And I'm like, it is something else, man.
It really is like so yesterday, because I don't think I shared this with you. So I started doing that Kriya a couple weeks ago when I was at the hotel.
Alchemizing
Do you remember me
fear.
telling you about that? Yeah. I did like the whole Jenny had given me the theta meditation. She gave me like a whole rundown of things to do. And I decided the day that I was leaving my hotel, like an hour before I was getting ready to leave, that
It's
that
time
was
to
a
start
great
this.
time. It was a great time to start this. Um, Fun fact, not at all the brightest idea I've ever had in my life, amongst many other ideas. And so I did it, and everything was fine. I got up to go take a shower, it was like quarter after 10. I had to be out of my hotel by 11, and I get this raging sharp stomach pain. Mind you, I had a client reading at 11:30. It was
Oh God.
10:15. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like this cannot be happening right now. Nope.
Well,
Sure as shit.
you want to dive into the Kundalini bag of tricks.
Oh, the bag of secrets will give you something to
You
talk about.
just
That's for
you keep
sure.
your hands to yourself. You keep your hands on your bag of secrets. You don't cross-contaminate secrets.
Well, what about your bag of secrets? I'm really
You
concerned
can
about
touch my
your
bag of
bag of
secrets.
secrets.
I still think about that, and that was just like one of the funniest moments ever. So for the backstory, everybody, Linz and I are at Bonnaroo. Day one, we have
Balls.
skipping down
Just
the
gonna slide
walkway
that in
with the
there.
citrus fruits. We'll just say that.
We love lemons. I love lemonade.
Lemonade. And we have our little backpacks of water, and we we're in it. We are, we come out of the
In it.
crowd. We go to refill our bags and like trying to maneuver this with a crowd of too many human beings, fill water, cat back on the water, make sure we have our phones, our like vibe check, group check. And it's just a stressful like
It's
list.
just the two of us too.
It's just the two of us, as it always is, and meant to be. And she tries to touch my bag of water. She tries to
I was
help
trying
me
to
with my.
help you. I
I
was
know you
trying
were
to
trying to
help
help
you.
me, but I was like,
You were struggling, and I was like, hey, I can help you. It's okay.
because I had a
You were
rule.
like,
I was like, everybody, let's just put our phones in our bags.
mhm.
Let at one, it's just at that point where you're like, we can't touch the phone because if we touch the phone, we're gonna lose it. So
Yes.
she tries to help me with my bag. I just turned to her in like the most genuinely innocent and also appalled way, and I was like, "Don't you touch my bag of secrets." You keep your hands on your own bag of secrets. You worry about your own bag.
Slapped my hand. God, that was so aggressive. My bag of secrets.
Don't you touch my
Bag of
bag.
secrets. I was like, okay, I'm just trying to help.
So
God.
so your friend Danny reached out and she's talking to me and we were chatting and she's like, I feel like I already know you. And I'm like, yeah, like I want to know you too.
As
And
you do.
she knows you. And I'm like, and you and I have talked about this before. I'm like, Lynn, she is sunshine. She is all light. And then there's me.
The darkness has risen.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. Look at us right now. I'm in like a freaking black t-shirt, my
Just
black
over here in
microphone,
my heart chakra green tank top over here.
tater tits out.
Tired dance.
Okay, so tell me your
There's
story.
mm. I was like, what story am I supposed to tell? Oh, that one. So, this is all about my tattoo.
Oh,
So, because I don't think I told you this full story about all the things that have happened with this tattoo. And anyways, so I
I
get
know I
it
got
in
all
like
the
Havasu.
synchronicities of leading up to the tattoo.
Okay, so I told you about the motorcycle and
Yep.
Johnny's barbershop and all that. And the guy called me out as I was walking down the sidewalk.
Yes.
Like there was
It's a
no one else
great
around. It was just
date
me.
for a tattoo.
Yeah. And like I'm like, okay, this guy was just like standing there on his phone. Like I didn't even think anything of it. I literally walked right past him and that's when he called me out. And literally, as I'm telling him, the motorcycle goes by, revs up super loud. Like there was no reason for it, but he did.
And then
Right
the
across the street from
Marine.
Johnny's barber shop. And then the Marine sign the next day when I went in, because I went in that night. I didn't see anything, but I just like looked around the shop. It was a small place and said hi to the owner and everything. Left, went to dinner with Rye. And then the next day I was like, I'm gonna go down and talk with them again. So I go down to the shop. That's when I saw the Marine sign on the wall. And I kind of just sat there for like a half hour, kind of like shooting the shit. And I was like, am I gonna get my tattoo? I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go back down to the beach and I'll come back later because the owner was in the middle of doing a tattoo at the time. So I leave. Mind you, did I tell you about the like electrician part of it all?
I don't think you did. Oh,
So the
wait,
guy
with
that
the
com
guy who's the
yes, yeah, so the
apprentice?
Yep. So he works at the electrical plants, if you will. And I was like, he's a millwright. And I'm like, of course you're part of a union too, I'm assuming. Like all these like synchronicities, right? Then he tells me he's from San Diego. Okay. We see where this is going. Great.
Yeah.
Fun fact, everybody. I'm in Carlsbad right now as I'm in Oceanside. I'm in North County, San Diego, if you were wondering. So anyways,
Wait,
so I
can
go
I
get
just
my
pause? Can I pause?
yes.
Does it feel weird knowing that you're super close
Yes. Yes.
to
You must have been on my moonbeam this morning because I was thinking about that before we hopped on here. I was like, God, I am deathly close.
that's so I didn't even think about that.
Uh-huh. It dawned on me, I think it was yesterday, it dawned on me because someone said San Diego and I was looking at the map and I saw La Mesa and Poway and all these places. I was like, I'm gonna stay in North County. Cheers to
I'm gonna
that.
stay up here.
I'm gonna stay up here where it's safe and where things are sacred.
Also, just want to point out, I'm very proud of you because uh I think it speaks a lot to your growth on when you were back in Colorado and Mike sh came back around. The fact
Oh
that
my
you are
God, yeah.
like right there and you're not reaching out to, do we have
I
a
don't even have
nickname
his
for him?
number.
Oh yeah, the delete.
Uh,
The
Sugar Daddy.
LSZ deletes.
Yeah, that was on the list of LSC deletes. Thank God bless. Ay, ay, ay.
God
Anyways,
bless.
for fun fact, guys, for whoever's listening to this, he might be listening to this too. Who knows? Anything's possible. Um, there was a guy that I was seeing that lived in San Diego, and everything ended really poorly, in a really
Abruptly.
abruptly, in a weird way. It's like if you're on a bus and they slam on the brakes, but you don't hit anything, you just go flying. That's kind of what it feels like. Um, someone might have lost a backpack out the window. Minor details.
Oh, definitely. Juice boxes are
Oh,
everywhere.
everywhere. Everything is red. It's just a fruit punch.
That just reminded me of like Taylor Swift. I don't know why. Well, I also have my Taylor Swift.
Of course you
Kesson
do.
this morning was like, you know, because James loves Taylor Swift.
Hmm.
Addie is a Swift. Obviously, Addie got me into it. And he's
Yep.
like, I'm gonna be the only one in the house who doesn't like Taylor Swift. And him and James are like having this like riff off of like Taylor Swift. And James is like, well, why don't you like Taylor Swift? He's like, well, all her songs are about love songs. He's like, actually, a lot of her songs aren't. You just haven't listened to them yet. And he's like, yeah, no. And he's like, well,
Kesson and I are in the same boat. We're just rowing down
Kevin's
the
like,
same river.
thou shall not give in. He just like he just
Go
has heels
Cass.
dug and he's like, can we just like listen to Eminem?
Go Cass. Team
Just like,
Cass
I'm
all the
sorry,
way.
buddy. This is only gonna get worse for you. I don't know what to tell you.
Might as well just give it now.
Okay, back to the story. So you
Okay,
are
back to
in the same
swirling.
locale
So I'm
of
in the same locale as that person, which we're
we
not
don't
even going
have
to
a
put
good nickname
energy.
for him.
No, because he was sugar daddy and he's
Oh,
not
that
a
was his
sugar.
nickname. I forgot.
I know, but
That's not a good one. He doesn't deserve that anymore.
no, he doesn't. That was like that's an earned title, and that title hath been taken away because
We shouldn't have something obscure like two-time penny flip side.
there you go. Two-time
I'm
penny flip
trying to
side.
like
That's
ride the
it.
line of like two-time penny flip side.
There it is. Oh, I just had a deja vu moment. Oh, that's weird. Oh, that was weird having that on camera. All right. Anyways, I'll be interested to see what comes of that. Anyways, so I'm in I'm in North County, San Diego. This guy at the two tattoo shops from San Diego originally. He's from this specific area too. And I I come out and I go to a coffee shop yesterday and I'm wondering like where am I gonna end up tomorrow? All these things. And I was like, man, I wish I could remember that Mexican restaurant that Jay and I went to when we were out here the first time.
Yeah.
And so I like I wasn't really thinking. I went back and looked at my pictures because I had pictures from the place had to go margaritas. That was like we'll just leave that there as a little nugget, okay? They had to go margaritas,
It's
which we
like
were so
COVID
excited
shit right
about.
there.
Literally. But it was
Was it in a
2022, so it was
soup?
like
Was it in a soup container, like a Chinese food
no,
soup
I
container?
wish. Oh, that would have been the best. No, so this was so they had like little plastic to-go cups for the margaritas. And I'm like burping so much as I'm
I know,
saying
I'm
this.
like,
This is why I'm like,
margaritas, heartburn, burping,
yeah,
puking,
literally so
tequila.
much. Oh my God, so much. Okay. So we go to this place and then we were gonna go to the beach afterwards. And because I really wanted tacos, he wanted a burrito. So we go, this place has I think he took me there because they had the to-go margaritas, if I remember correctly. Anyways, so I ask this guy from the tattoo shop, I'm like, hey, do you have any so because he was asking me like where I ended up, and I'm like, oh, I'm in Oceanside, blah blah blah. He's like, I was like, do you have any suggestions of places to go? And he sends me a list.
Is a fucking restaurant on the list?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
He's like, yeah, Las Olas in I think he said Las Olas in Carlsbad has to go margaritas. And I was like, I literally sat here for like over half an hour last night looking up pictures of the restaurant to see if it's the same
Mm-hmm.
one. They have picnic tables out back, which is where Jay and I sat at the picnic tables because it was so
Mm-hmm.
nice out. And then I thought it was not that far from the beach. It's like a 25-minute drive from Oceanside Pier, which is where we ended up, which also I was like, what fucking beach were we at? Because there's beaches all along. It's like
Mm-hmm.
Encinitas, Carlsbad, Oceanside. And I'm like, where the fuck were we? I was like, there's a pier. I
I feel
have
like you're
pictures
gonna
of
find
Jay
it.
and the dog. And so I'm going on a little hunt today
I love
to
that.
find
With
to find the
tacos?
me yes. And to go
Yes. And
margaritas.
to go margaritas.
Yes. But like the fact that that was the only actual restaurant that he mentioned a brewery and like something else. And I had been wondering what the restaurant was. The location is not on the pictures that I had.
Mm.
All I have is my memory of like the area that we were in and
Yep.
what the outside looks like. And to me, the outside looks different, but also like the pictures are taken from a different area too. So I'm like,
Just gotta
I'm
go.
just I'm just gonna
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
because I'm like, there's no coincidence that he's connected with all these other syncs. And he even said that I was like, you're gonna laugh at this
Oh,
because I
the
told him last
synchronicities
night.
are too deep. And
I'm
this,
like,
yeah.
guys, fun fact, I got this new tattoo. I don't know if you can see it if you're watching the
If you
video
see the
version.
video, you can see it.
If you
It's
see the
sick.
video, it's an Ouroboros with a Roman numeral 5 in the middle. And I don't think I've mentioned Jay on here now that I'm talking about that.
I
I don't know if
feel,
people even know who Jay is.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know. My conceptualization of what we say on here versus what we text versus there's too
It's a
many. There's
portal.
too many
There's
forms of communication.
there's too much going on. Don't forget about Rock. Don't forget about Rock.
Oh, babe,
Rock.
the look he's giving me right now. Let's see if he chooses the right rock. Choose the right rock. There was
Tell me he chose it. Tell me
he
he chose
bought
it.
me all the rocks.
I love that.
I
Such a
love you.
king. Thanks, James. It's a
So when he
beautiful
first came into
moment.
my room, so I have like rocks all on my
Of course you do. Yeah.
heater vent
Uh-huh.
under my yoga thing where I usually sit for yoga. And he's like, there's a bunch of rocks over there. I was like, yep. And he's like, you have a lot of rocks in a lot of places. I was like, yes, I do.
Yes, I do.
Look at he brought the witch needs coffee mug too.
Oh, I love that.
Oh God, he's
Such a
just the
king.
best. He's the
Yes,
best. Happy
wins extra
Valentine's
brownie
Day.
points. Oh, happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, the fact that I've already been doing this podcast, this is my first sip of coffee of the day. Of the
I feel,
day.
I feel honored.
I told you we were gonna have coffee together.
I know. I know. I appreciate this.
I love you.
I love you.
I got all the rocks. I'm holding too many things. So you just have to
rolls over and rocks go flying everywhere.
Just pelvic thrust into the camera. See all my rocks.
It's a
Oh my
rock
God.
celebration. Oh, all the rock drops. Mm.
Earth.
Oh my God. So yeah, for those of you that may or may not be wondering, Jay is my twin flame. He passed away tragically. I'm just gonna give you the short version because I'm sure this will be a longer version at some point. But for the glossary of terms, Jay is my twin flame, passed away tragically in October of last year. He is why I have my mediumship capabilities. And he's the reason I got this tattoo because he was fifth generation. He had a V tattooed over his heart. And mine's on my left arm. So now I keep him close to my chest. And the Ouroboros, this was totally an activation tattoo too. Like
Oh,
everything that's
yes.
happened since I left Lake Havasu, I'm like,
It's been a
that,
wild ride for you these past couple days.
dude, do I look better finally? I felt like I was dying for like a day. I'm pretty sure
You,
I died for a day or two.
yeah, you definitely look better. You look less
Thank you.
fearful and like you want to control alt delete.
Yes.
I think that was the best way to put it. It was just like, I'm
Task manager.
done.
I was
I'm
so
done.
done.
You
I
were
was
so done.
so I was so done.
Sassy Lenny came out.
Oh, the Leo, the full moon in Leo really did me in, guys. To say the least. This was totally an activation tattoo though, because A, I channeled it. Like Jay helped me channel it. And it was more so just the Ouroboros with the
Hmm.
V, and then I kind of like gave them images and let
Yeah.
them
I love how
ride
it
with
came out.
it. Yeah, it came out perfect. And then like the whole like light beam aspect part of it, and like he had come to me after he passed, and Black Balloon by Goo Goo Dolls was a really big song for both of us. And at the end of that song, literally like the last two lines, it's like, now I get to be what you were to me.
Hmm.
And like now he's my guiding light,
Yeah.
like on the other side. And I was his guiding light when he was here.
That just hit me in the belly.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
That's a
was
good
that was a
one.
moment when that I was like, oh, I love this song. And it's like on my playlist for us and whatnot. And then it literally the last two lines of the song, I was like, just immediate waterfall.
Oh, yeah.
It like hit me. I was like, oh my God. Like never thought about it like that, but okay, here we are.
Yeah.
It's just
Love
wild.
that. That is wild and it's beautiful. And I think it's beautiful that you can turn tragedy into, you know, I
Yeah.
don't know the word I'm looking for because
Honestly,
it's
like
multifaceted, but
it is. It's well, I mean, it's duality in its purest form.
mhm.
And it's not lost on me that I'm going back. And I had said like and first of all, guys, be careful of your words because I clearly need to be more careful of mine. I
Words
have
are
been
spells.
saying literally for the last week, I've been saying like, oh, maybe I'll just go back to a couple of the places that we went to.
Hmm.
And I said that open-endedly thinking I was going to Temecula and all these other places. I end up here, which I'm like, okay, that makes kind of sense because I'm literally like not far from the pier. I'm not far from the Mexican restaurant. Like I'm not far from Temecula. And it's just also interesting to me. So the thing that came through this morning, because I was like, okay, why is all this happening? Because I told that guy from that tattoo shop, and he's like, interesting that all these connections are like just to me. I'm like, yeah, I haven't figured out the deeper meaning in all this yet. And I was journaling this morning, and it's like every time I go to these places, it's like taking back my power
Well, that's
from
literally
that
as you were
time.
saying that, I'm like, I think this is a really good subject because as we normally do things, we just kind of jump in. We're like, let's see what comes up. Um, I think it's super empowering to reclaim. And like I was talking to Becky about this in the light of divorce, of reclaiming dates and reclaiming spaces and places.
Hmm.
Like Bonnaroo to me was a huge reclaiming because it was Derek and I who were going to music festivals together, and that was like our last music fest. Like that was huge. We got engaged the
Yeah.
weekend of the last music festival that I went to, and I mean, the first music festival I went to, I was in high school and was kind of alone, met up with friends, but that was a big part of that, and like that was a huge reclaiming.
Hmm.
And I think going back to, and it doesn't just have to do with relationships, but it can be done with like time periods of life or
Yeah.
what have you. And going back and creating new memories
Hmm.
and bonding with like the space, place, date, like, just kind of like
Yeah.
reclaiming dates because I think it goes along with, you know, our life is full of chapters, and I feel oftentimes we get caught. Why are you laughing? Why are you giggling? What's the face?
You were saying the dates thing, and I was like, why do I feel like today is significant? Today is uh 3 years since I moved to Colorado.
Interesting.
I just looked up, I was like, oh, it's February 14th. That was the day that I arrived back
I
at
was
my
like,
apartment
yes,
in
this date is
Colorado.
Valentine's Day,
Yep.
Vagina
And then
Day.
uh technically that Friday, because it was a Monday, that Friday, the 19th, is when Jay came to visit me. And that's when
Mm,
all the riffraff with the fucking date rape bullshit happened.
ugh, drugs and the drinks.
Sorry about that. That was a little bit of a detour, but here we are. I was like, there's
You're
because
waiting.
we always have significance to dates, at least for me. I'm
Yeah,
like,
you
to
you
the
have a lot of date
date.
significance.
Like, I mean, you were with me when the whole mem thing happened.
That was
Uh,
insane.
that was in, talk about a rock,
That
an
was like
avalanche. That
that
was a
was
rock
for me, that was
avalanche.
like the when crazy things happen beyond what our like logical brain can comprehend. To me, it's like that undeniable, you can call it coincidence, you can call it synchronicity, but just like that
Hmm.
anchor of no, you didn't make this up. Like, no, this was bigger than kind of what you can comprehend. To me, it was the
That,
the date coincidence of
oh
like
yeah,
we realized these things happening once like the clock went past midnight into what was it, October
it was
6th?
October 6th. Yeah.
And then you're like, don't tell me the date. I can't check the date. And I was like, it's October 6th. We did like a Mean Girls moment, but with dead people.
Literally. Because I was like, and that like I'm always so
He
curious too,
asked
because
what
like a
date it
lot of these
was.
times I
I told him it was October 3rd. Oh,
it's so true though. Like I don't I'm like now that I'm thinking back, I'm like, I wonder what that looked like from like your perspective. Because normally it's just me when these date things happen, although the last couple of times it's happened, it's been around other people. But I'm always like, my reaction is just reacting.
well, from my perspective, I mean, it was, I mean, you just started sobbing, and I was just like, oh, like, let's just
Where's the
hug.
key to the vault?
Literally. Oh my God. Yeah, it's so interesting though, because I mean, every date has a meaning. And if you
Yeah.
look, like there was that book of that I saw in New Hampshire, and I told you because you and I are both born on the 23rd, and it's like, oh, those born
Yep.
on the 23rd, doesn't matter what month, but just the number of 23, like
Hmm.
tend to have a lot of ideas, tend to be like more, I think, like unsettled. Yeah, my hands are holding too many things, but just pretend
It's
you see
fine.
it.
I did it. I did it
Um,
for you.
but those dates numbers have meaning. Like James got me a candle for Christmas, and it was like a date candle for
Oh,
our
that's
like
right. Yeah.
first date, and it was really interesting because the significance of that date held very true to like who we are as a
Mm.
couple.
Yep.
And like I'm gonna put my coffee down. He gave me my Valentine's Day gift last night, and it's
Hmm.
this bracelet, and I don't know
Oh,
if
I
you can see
love
it.
it.
So it has
Looks like it has
the
some the flower or
court
something on
so
it.
it has the coordinates of the night that he told me that he loved me, of like
Oh,
where
I
he
love
was, and
that.
like there was a significant thing that kind of like happened spiritually
Hmm.
kind of for both of us that night. So
Yeah.
it's the place, and it's all the stars that were in the sky,
Oh, that's
like
so
at the place
cool.
that he was at
Yeah.
within that, like, and that's the thing, like this is so much bigger. Like everything,
It's
if you
so much
choose to
bigger.
peel back the layers, everything has so
Everything.
much meaning and significance. Like think about, I don't know if you saw, but like um Kendrick Lamar's halftime show. If
Hmm.
you start going down the hole of
Hmm.
TikTok, the amount of meaning behind like every single thing. He wore flare pants. There's something that was like flare pants was significant of um revolution back in like the 70s and the 60s. Like there was somebody sitting like laying on a lamppost and it cascaded a shadow
Hmm.
down and it looked like the hanged man in the shadow.
Mm, interesting.
Like there's so much meaning, and it blows my mind sometimes because I'm like, how does somebody come up, orchestrate, create so much of that? But then it's like it's all around you all the time. It's whatever you choose to see. Talk about tattoos. My tattoo too, my activation tattoo.
Hmm.
The
Yep.
meaning that it has behind it. My cousin was asking me like, "Oh, what does it mean?" I'm explaining it, and honestly, I wasn't even explaining it that deep. And she's like, "Dear God, I could never think of all of that." And
Yeah.
everything can have so much significance if you
I mean,
just
even with
choose to see it.
freaking like same thing with the snake. I'm like
Snake.
I have been wanting that since you were together with me
Well, I think it's
and we
funny
were
because I'm
at that
totally getting an
Phoenix.
Ouroboros as well.
I love that.
I keep thinking about it. I'm like, I think I'm feeling it on my right shoulder.
So it's so interesting too. You keep putting tattoos on your right and I keep putting them on my left.
Yeah, it's super yes, because the two that I'm thinking of like getting, I don't think the
Mm-hmm.
Ouroboros is ready to come yet, but I feel it
Mm-hmm.
on on my shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
But I have my like peace sign prison tattoo on my right thing, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the next one I'm gonna try to like
Yeah.
spruce up and like turn into something more.
Yeah.
But I feel like I do have, I mean, I have a couple things on my left side.
It's been a while since you got a left. Well, our
The
last left
23.
one was
But
23.
yeah, you're right. I've done a lot on my right side
Yeah.
lately. That's been like
It's just
the
felt very interesting to me, especially like all that we've gone through and that we're going through. And like,
experiencing.
hmm
We're
like
not going through.
healing, okay, experiencing, um, for the better term.
I'm not
Um,
depressed. Experiencing depression.
I'm
I'm so happy
experiencing
I'm not
life
so
as a
happy I'm not
human
experiencing
being.
depression anymore. Dear
Thank
God.
fucking God you're back from the rabbit hole.
I know. Birth
So,
control is poison.
devil,
The devil's work.
devil's work, not the Lord's
There
work.
is no devil in hell. It's birth control. Just
That's
saying.
literally though.
God bless those who can take it and not get absolutely
I
bonkers.
don't think I know anybody that can. That's the thing.
I do. I do know some people who've been
Bless
on it
those
long term,
souls.
and I'm just like, lucky ducky because I can't.
I was on it for years, literally up until 2019. No, yeah, 2019. So it's been 6 years I've been off.
Hmm.
So I was 26-ish when I went off of it, and I had been on it for 10 plus years at that point. But I look back at all the shit that happened. I was so sick for 10
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
And like, you can't tell me that that wasn't an underlying
Well,
cause
we
of
all
like
get
all
put
my
on it.
issues.
I think it's a beautiful thing, and also talk about duality. Like
Yeah.
I think it's really incredible that we have the power to take it so young.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's empowering. I know everyone has their own opinion. I think
Hmm.
that, for my own daughter, I don't want her to be on hormones at a young age, but I do believe in safety and choice, and like
Yeah.
what a great thing to have available.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's, our generation. I don't know if it's expands outside of that, but I feel like all of us
I feel
were
like it's
on.
just our generation.
Well,
We got
honestly,
slapped on it at like people were
I went on
taking
it
it for
for
the
acne.
acne.
Yes. Yup. Because I remember having a
That's
conversation with my dad and I was
literally,
like, it's for acne, dad. I like the dermatologist
yeah.
recommended it because it was that or fucking Accutane, which came
Yep.
with a 200-page book and you had to sign a contract that you would have an abortion. I was like, this
Yep.
doesn't seem safe.
It's just like the freaking methotrexate I was on for Crohn's.
Oh God, yeah.
And every single time I would go in, the first thing he would say was, "Are you
Are
being
you
safe?
pregnant?
Are you pregnant? Is there
Yeah.
any chance you could be pregnant?" And it was like, I felt like my father was giving me the beat down every time because it was like, if you get pregnant, you're fucked, basically,
Mm-hmm.
quite literally, and you have to have an abortion.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was married at the time. We didn't know if we were gonna have kids. Like, I was like, screw that. I'm done with this shit. Like,
Yeah.
and not long after that, I went off the birth control and then I got pregnant. Um, Shocker. But I also wasn't, I was tracking my cycles then, but I wasn't wholeheartedly tracking them like I should have been, if that makes sense. It was kind of like I'd put it in
Well,
the app, but I wasn't like aware to a point where it was like, oh, it's the new moon. Oh, I'm probably ovulating. Oh, it's the full moon. I'm probably going to start bleeding. Like that awareness was not fully there yet. It was developing,
well,
but it wasn't fully
also,
there.
can we just talk about how we are just talking about the four
Mhm.
phases of a cycle
Yeah.
because I've been bleeding since I was 11 years old. And
Hmm.
in no part of that did I understand that there were four hormonal cycles, the luteal phase, the, ovulation
I
phase.
was to, yeah, I was like, oh, a
This is
year
like
or two
new.
old. Yeah, it's super
This
new.
this like just came into my awareness like yes, not yesterday. Like a year ago.
The day before.
Yesterday. But like and then let's talk about how, I went into the office to try to find, I can't do hormonal
Yep.
birth control. I tried again. Same shenanigans. So let's try
Hmm.
another option. Going in there, talking to the OB and how everything got taken down off the CDC website on STDs, STIs, and protocols of birth control. And my doctor was like, we as healthcare professionals, we use the pathways every single day um to determine. So like say you have somebody who has high blood pressure and like has a
Hmm.
comorbidity, there's like a pathway of the safest route of like birth control for them and it's gone. So I like it.
No words.
Yeah,
No
it
words.
leaves me
There's
speechless. And
no
I think
words.
it's important, let's talk about, I think it's also interesting. Like I am in Ayurveda school. Ayurveda was an ancient wisdom that's been passed down pretty much orally. All the
Hmm.
Ayurveda texts are like destroyed, the original,
Yeah.
but like this knowledge keeps getting passed down through all lineages.
Hmm.
And it is like such an honor to learn. You and I are learning core shamanism, which, like, again, it's a passed down thing. Learning about fucking skinwalkers, like, all these things are these passed down traditions that it's like, are we getting to the point of education around women's
Yeah.
bodies and also not even women's bodies,
Yeah.
but like health of STDs and STIs. Like syphilis
Hmm.
is back. It makes me think of like fucking King Henry. Do you remember being at the ER and like
Oh,
giving people
yeah.
shots for syphilis? And I'm like, is this a joke? Like, what?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you can get tertiary syphilis and literally go mad.
Yep.
If you let it go for too long and like syphilis is on the rise. It's ridiculous. And it's like all
I
this
mean,
stuff.
history repeats itself.
Yeah,
We
like
didn't learn the
nobody's
first time, so now we're gonna learn
no.
the second time.
Yeah,
Like,
but it's just like I know who knows if my children are going to have sex education in
I
school.
mean, the fact that we had sex education and health ed, whatever the you want to call it, and no one told us about periods.
I hated my period when I was so ashamed. It was like I was
Same.
depressed that
Hmm.
like when it came every month, I felt gross. I felt depressed. I felt shame. It was like so negative. It was
So
a secret
negative.
trying to hide to get to the bathroom in school to like
Trying to
bring a
shove
pad.
freaking OB tampons in my pocket, making sure
Yeah,
they're
like
not
God
falling
forbid
out
somebody
over the
saw it.
classroom. Like the secrecy.
Yeah.
The now I'm like fucking whipping out a tampon.
Well,
Like I'll
there's that
carry it
and
in my
like
freaking hand. Like I don't
the
care.
secrecy of all of it. Think about
Yeah.
abortion. Think about like us sharing about your
Miscarriages.
miscarriage or your abortion and people's miscarriages and these colposcopy like when I had to have a when because now I've had
Mhm.
two. The
Yeah.
first time she told me, I was like scared, slightly devastated, and just like I was like, what the heck? And then I started sharing because I'm just a person who shares. Um, and come to find out, it's like this. I have talked to so many people who've gone through this, and I'm like, why?
Hmm.
Why are we not talking about this? Why are we not supporting each other? Like we're all fucking scared. It's the
Yep.
same thing.
Yeah. There's so much. It's not scarcity, but there's a lot of dense emotion behind all of it that's been just kind of like shoved under the rug for a long time.
There is a blue jay, the most beautiful blue jay, sitting outside my window right now.
Are we surprised?
No, that is a really beautiful blue jay.
That's so
But
cool.
this is where
Hi,
we got to
Jay.
push back. And
Yeah.
this is the point, it's like we're moving backwards in progression.
Yeah.
And we're also like, yet, I
We're
always feel
moving
like there's more
forward.
of us than there are of them,
Oh, yeah.
truly. And I feel like we're all still advancing. And I think the
Oh,
more we
yeah.
talk about it, the more we find community, the more we create space. I mean, all of this individualism was done on purpose. We
Hmm.
were meant to live in community. Matriarchy is coming
Yeah.
and coming.
Yeah. You didn't know you were podcasting with two teenage boys today, did you?
Literally,
Yeah,
ladies come
literally.
first.
Oh my God. It's so funny too that we're talking about all this because it's like reclaiming our power as women from the masculine, really. Like that's been this whole that's what I was journaling on before we got on the call. Like this is truly coming home to yourself.
I mean, that's
Like,
been like, yeah, that's my sankalpa is being at home, coming home. And
yeah,
I think that expands, but also I want to highlight it's not just from the masculine, it's also
it's
from the
all
feminines.
yeah.
Like the amount of competition
Oh
and
my
not
God.
like
Yeah.
when you can create a friendship as to where you can celebrate each other's wins and not see it as a threat.
Yeah.
Like we're all turned against each other.
Hmm.
Who's prettier, who can like get this guy's attention or who can get that or who has this or what baggery, it's like, but that just
Yeah.
goes down the whole of capitalism, materialism, bullshit. But it's just all this stuff to like keep us pinned against each other.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's a wild time to be alive. It's also super freaking like I'm so glad that we're awake for this. I cannot
Same.
imagine all of these things happening and being asleep. I really truly cannot fathom what that would look like. So much so to all these coincidences. Like I can't imagine being asleep to that. Like why I'm going to
And
all
just
these places,
not seeing it.
why I'm like at the coffee shop yesterday. I don't even think I texted you this. I'm at the coffee shop yesterday working on some stuff, put on like a vibey playlist or whatever. And I was thinking, I'm like, oh, I wonder where I'm gonna end up after I leave here. And I'm like, oh man, I really like this song. I've never heard it. I go on. It's called Oh Hi, like Oh Hi, California, which is
Ah,
where Jay and I were the second time I was
that's
out
great.
here.
I love that.
And I was like, okay, I did have a feeling I was probably going up to Ventura and like up that area. And it's also interesting, it's not lost on me too. So I think I told you I've been wanting to go back to Yosemite.
Hmm.
And my whole intention in my brain was to go for Firefall, which
Yep.
is happening it now-ish. And the other night I was on my TikTok live and we were all talking about it. And I was saying how like I'm revisiting these places that I've
Hmm.
already been. And I had said to Jay, I'm not doing that hike again. Because I don't know. I think I told you about the hike that we went on, like
Yeah.
the 16-mile hike that was only
Yeah.
supposed to be 14 miles in a day that I didn't even know we were going on. He just like surprised me. He was like, "Yeah, we're gonna go hiking tomorrow." And I'm in my head, I'm thinking like, "Yeah, 6 mile hike, whatever." We show up to the trail and it's 8 miles up, and I was like, "LOL." Okay, cool. And I always said I could not have done that hike without him because he ended up carrying some of my
You've said that
stuff
so many times.
so many times. And now it's coming back to bite me because I told him I would never do that hike again because he
Watch
wouldn't be there
this.
with me. And he was like, he asked me, I think it was last week, will you do that hike again? And I was like, no, I already told you I put my foot in the sand. I was like, I'm not doing it. And he was like, but you do it for me. And I was like, you are the only person that I would ever do that for. And I started sobbing. And that's when I was like, fuck, this is real. So I have a feeling that I'm going back. And my friend
Well,
actually,
make sure you let me know. Give
yeah,
me time
because
frames.
my friend did make a really nice reflection of like, you went there as two halves last time,
Hmm.
like the masculine and the feminine, and now you're on this journey of reclaiming that other half of you.
Hmm.
And now you get to do it with him in spirit. So he's still there with you. He's just not physically there. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
it just is like, oh, that's like, because that is like, that happened March 13th, 2022, a month after I moved, almost a month to the day that I moved out west.
Wow.
Like I just think of all the things and I'm like, that's a huge reclaiming in and of itself.
Yeah. How far are you from Yosemite? You're
Oh,
pretty far.
yeah, it's like 7.5 hours from here, which basically, if I went from here and I went up through Temecula, I would take the same exact route that we took.
Well, I feel like you're
That's
on
also
that.
not lost on me.
Yeah. And I feel like you're on that because I mean, I know you have to be back for all the fun shenanigans
Yeah,
um soon, but I'm interested to see how that pans out for you.
I am
Dude,
too.
I'm
It
just like
just,
so happy you didn't come back here for
dude, isn't
you.
it wild?
I'm sad for me because I miss you, but I'm so happy
Thank you.
for you because
Thank
I'm
you.
this is this is just so beautiful and like rich and in just enriching.
Yeah, and super empowering. I'm not the same person I was.
You are fucking killing it.
I
You are killing it.
thank you.
You're doing such a good job. Like, and you
Thank you.
are, it's just, you're killing it. I love seeing this. I love it.
Thanks for being my soundboard when there's a rat crawling around my car at
I
fucking
was just like,
9 o'clock at night.
there's a piece of me because remember when I had the fucking mice in my car and you're like, I
Oh,
don't
that's
know.
what I was thinking
I
of.
don't know how that, I've never heard of that before. I was like,
LOL. Well, so I was thinking about that because literally you sent me the rat spirituality thing. Then I tell Tony. Tony also sends me something about the rat. And then I tell a third person. They also send me something about the rat. And I was like, if another person sends me the spiritual context of a rat, I'm
fucking
going to
rat.
lose my shit. I love you all. But fuck off.
Fuck off, bitches. Well, like, didn't we, did we just, what was the last year of in the Chinese calendar? Were, were we in the year of the
Dragon,
rat?
wasn't it?
Dragon?
No, it was the dragon, I think, because we're in the snake now.
Snake.
Snake,
You know
snake.
that video, the snake, slippery snake?
Yeah. Hmm.
James for my other Valentine one of my other Valentine's Day gifts was he got me a cameo of the slippery snake guy. He sent it to me yesterday. I just sat on the couch laughing my ass off. I watched it twice.
Oh my God. I love that so much.
The end of the video, the guy's like, and always remember the three most important words in any relationship are, I'm a snack. I
That's awesome.
was like, oh my God. Fucking
Oh,
wait.
it's so good. Rock drop. Can we get a rock drop,
Can I
please?
get a rock? I got
Oh
so many
my
rocks.
God. We love all the rocks. Dude, it's so wild. Like this, yeah, the whole rat thing, that was, I don't know, this whole week, honestly, that
This
day
week has been
was
you've
rock
you had a
bottom.
rough like 36 hours.
Yeah. It's so interesting too. I forgot to tell you this yesterday. I was on Instagram and this girl that I follow, she's like hiked all these different like PCT, CDT, all these different things. And she was in fucking Joshua Tree yesterday. And talk about like people living two different timelines. I'm like, is the weather actually that good there? Like it was sunny. They had a gorgeous sunset. And I'm like, what the
What
fuck?
Joshua Tree were you in? Yeah.
Literally, I was like, in my head, I was like, are these old? Like, are these like she's
Did
like
they she
delayed
just
in
post it
posting them?
different? Yeah. That may be true.
I don't think she I don't think they are.
I don't know. That's crazy because you did not experience that Joshua Tree. I also think it's
No.
interesting how, well, I mean, you're getting pushed out for a reason.
Oh
And
yeah.
I think it's interesting that all these places that people are like, these are spiritual meccas, like you go to and you're like, fuck this. Like, not
Literally.
at all.
Or like I have some sort of fucking experience that's unlike
Yeah.
anything else. Sedona. Actually, Sedona was probably, although that was where my biggest energetic purge came from, that was probably the mildest. And I actually didn't encounter that many like fake spiritual people there.
Hmm.
Joshua Tree felt dense. Like the energy of the land did not want me there.
Mm,
Like I, on a frequency level, was like, the satellite thing, that's still not lost on me that all of that launched Monday night when I got to camp. And then
yeah.
Tuesday, the weather changes. Then California gets 3 days worth of rain, which never happens.
Hmm.
Like, all very interesting. The wind picks up in the middle of our shamanic training
Yeah,
to
dude.
the point where my car was rocking for eight
And
plus hours.
she was taught, and when we were in training, and she was talking about the tornadoes in
Yes.
Massachusetts
All
and the
I could
spirit
think
of
of was,
wind, the wind
yep.
spirit. Hmm.
And all I could think of too was when Zach and I were down in Big Bend and my car got hit by that sand tornado that came through camp. Did I ever tell you about that?
I don't know if you did.
It looked like a tornado, but we had set up our tent and we were about to hop in the car to go get dinner. And I was in the tent trying to get my rings back on because I had just taken a shower. And Zach was yelling, babe, babe. And I'm like, what? And I like come up out of the tent, which was facing the opposite direction of the car, and this freaking tornado is coming right at me.
Holy shit.
And he's standing at the car, which was like 20 feet behind our tent. And he's like, get over here, like trying to get me in the car. And I was on the passenger side, which was the side of which the tornado was coming towards. And I literally got in the car as quickly as I could. I slammed the door and the fucking thing hit the car, like slammed the
Holy
car,
shit.
mowed our entire tent down. I was freaking out. He's like holding on to me. I'm like scared shitless. I was like, "What's happening?" He's like, "We're in the middle of a tornado. We're fine." Like, thank God. He was my calm in the chaos when we were together. Thank God. I'm watching. There's like little kids running around outside. Like it wasn't like a tornado like you'd see in
It is
Kansas
like
per
those weird,
se.
like, what do they call them? It's like
Like it
I
was
want to say
almost like a
hot spot,
dust. Yeah,
but
but
it's
it was
like
like I
these
could
weird,
see it coming towards us. Like it was moving. And then it went through our tent and then went off. There was like a mountain off in the background. I think it went towards the mountain, and then I'm assuming it stopped. I was so shook. I was like, "Is everyone okay? Is everyone on the ground?" Like it didn't
well, you
lift the
talk
car
about
up or
like biggest
anything.
fears. Honestly, when people are like, what's your biggest fear? I mean, outside the whole like my losing my kids or like
Mm,
leaving them
yeah.
abandoned, leaving them orphans. I mean, my biggest fear has kind of always been natural disasters.
Oh yeah.
ever since I was like a kid, because I'm like,
Yeah.
there's literally nothing you can do when Mother Earth is raging. Like, that's it. And I always joke around, I'm like, I pick my place to live. I will take a blizzard any day of the week over a wildfire, over a hurricane, over a
Wow.
tornado, over like all that other shit. But I just think it's so interesting that it's like that post Jenny sent us about Atlantis when it's like you're
Yeah.
you're terrified of like
Drowning.
now yeah, natural disasters. I'm like,
Yeah.
and the drowning thing, and I'm just like, oh, these
Yep.
hit.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't really have a fear on drowning, but it's definitely the natural disaster piece for me. But I know you have
Yeah.
a significant fear of drowning.
Yeah. It's definitely better though since we cleared. Well, I haven't really been in the water all that much since we cleared that,
Hmm.
but it doesn't feel as daunting as it
Yeah.
did before I cleared it. Um, the day that Jay passed. So interesting all that happened. But yeah, the whole natural disaster thing, like I always worry, I'm like, if something were to happen while I'm out here camping and sleeping and nobody knows. Like those are that's like that
Well, I'll
extreme
just
fear of
be.
dying that came up yesterday.
I'm always watching
Eating
you.
snacks while watching my location.
For so to give everyone, we got to wrap up soon, but
Yeah.
before we got on this, so Linz is 3 hours behind me, and we set this time, and I sent her the thing. I didn't hear from her, so I'm just like sitting here, and I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, I want to see where she is. She's one of the few people that we share locations. So I'm watching her move around. I'm like, okay, she's awake. And then it looked like she's like outside. I'm like, she's probably grounding. So meanwhile, I'm talking to James, who's downstairs, looking at Lindsay walk around some rando house. And then all of a sudden I hear, hello, on my phone. I'm like, ah, sorry, I was just watching you move around. Meanwhile, I'm like
Scare
yelling
your
back and
best
forth with
friend
James
101.
downstairs. Oh my God. So funny.
All I can think of is that meme of that little kid that's sitting there and he's like, just like watching the dot move.
Well, dude, remember our screensavers
Oh my God.
and like the
Yes.
DVD that would like boop, boop,
Yep.
boop the TV? And it's just like,
Yes.
oh my God. Or
This
like
is
the
it. It
fucking
was
like
preparing
weird,
us.
like fractal bullshit
Oh my
computer
God. That
screensavers.
would,
And you just like sit there and
yes.
watch it.
They were preparing us all the time. We just didn't know.
We had no idea.
We had no idea.
Nobody knows.
We've evolved to taking lemons and watching our best friend
It was there all
move
along.
around on their map.
You just keep your hands off my bag of secrets, girlfriend.
I feel like that's this week's episode, Bag of Secrets.
Literally, like, what is this? What is this episode? I don't even know. It's
I mean,
just
we were
us
talking
having
about
coffee,
like remembering who we are, which is part of the Bag of Secrets.
numbers, birth control.
The Queen
We
of
bop
Cups.
around.
We do. We just we're a bunch of squirrels.
Squirrels.
I love squirrels
I do too.
in this context. And I feel like the majority of our listeners, which I don't know how many of you are out there, but thank you if you've made it this
Five.
far.
Just kidding.
Um, five.
Yes! I didn't even put that together. God, the shit must just be subconscious. I don't even know.
It is. It's already programmed in there. They're like just waiting. They're like, I feel like our teams are sitting
Ah,
there with popcorn like in a stadium and they're just like
just wait. Just wait. It's coming. Let's do this.
coming.
Coming. I'm coming. You know that like movie Forgetting Sarah Marshall,
Yes.
where Jason Segal's like hooking up with a bunch of girls. There's that one girl who's like, I just came. It's like this monster. Like, what?
God. Oh, my head hurts from laughing. Oh God, this is such a good episode though.
Yeah, it
I
was
think we should
truly
do
our
this more
coffee time.
often. It really was our coffee time.
This is a
Guys,
coffee episode.
this is we haven't had coffee together in
It's been far too long.
8 months. No,
No,
October.
October.
5.
Still long.
It's
Oh,
so funny
five?
because it's been right? Yeah, just about 5. Yep.
Grow it up.
You know, it also makes five.
Shut up. Oh my God, I love it. Two plus three.
Just got an armful of change over here.
And then you need something on your knuckles so
Which
you can punch somebody in the face. It's like a they
I'll just
don't
get
see it
I'll get
coming.
I'll get five written on my knuckles.
Yes. Oh, I was thinking, no, you should find it in like some other language. I
Like
was gonna say
Sanskrit.
cinco, but like you need five fingers for that. Like get something that has like four. I don't know. Go to your ancestry.
I mean, I could do Cinco and just
No.
put no.
Five. I mean, you could do it in English,
I know, but
but
English is
English is
lame.
stupid.
Maybe I'll do it in Italian.
What is it in Italian? We're gonna have to look this up.
I have to fact check that. What's five in Italian? Immediately sends text after we get off.
Yeah, no, it's pretty much. I expect that. I know. I
Yep.
gotta go. We're gonna watch the new Severance episode before he has to skedaddle.
Oh, fancy.
Oh, it's
I'm gonna
so good, but
go.
it's such a like.
I don't think I've seen that. What is it
Oh, it's
on?
on Apple TV, and the
Okay.
whole premise is people elect to have this like surgery done. They get this like
Oh, you
implant.
did tell me about
Yeah, so
that.
when they go into work, they don't remember who they
Yeah.
are outside. So they're like different pieces of
So
themselves.
weird.
It's fucking
Yeah.
trippy. It's weird. It's crazy. And you're just like,
Ugh.
but you can't really tell what time period it's in. Like James brought that up and he's like, the technology and the cars, but then like like the technology
It's like a
doesn't,
Mod Podge.
it's a Mod Podge. Like the cars that they're driving are like whatever. It could be like 80s, 90s. The computers look a little bit older, but like this whole spiel of like this technology that you think like it just you can't fully pinpoint it.
You know where
It's
my
just it's
brains are.
weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. And you're just like, what do they actually do here? Why
The
are there
things that
goats?
there's things that have been hidden for a long, long time.
Yeah.
They've probably had this going since the 70s or 80s.
It's yeah. Things are coming up
It's
to
like
play.
when like the Hunger Games or like Back to the Future comes up and I'm like, that's literally everything that's happening right now.
Yeah.
Like
Well.
Xenon,
Oh.
me
Zoom,
seeing
zoom,
the aliens the other night.
zoom.
I was like, wait,
Come
I'm confused.
back. I want to go see Protozoa in space.
I'm like, also, did I tell you? So Ryan, oh, we can hop off. Ryan was in, I almost said Utah. He was in Arizona at Lake Havasu at camp where we were over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
He sent me a video, I'll have to send it to you, of this thing in the air at the exact same time that I sent him what was going on at my camp.
Yep.
And the weird thing was, his was going like this. Mine was like this.
Interesting.
And I'll send you both videos so you can look at it. But I'm like, spaceships are supposed to go up, right? Like satellites are supposed to go up. This was plowing
Yeah, it
sideways.
looks like it was playing sideways when you sent me the video
That's why I
and the
was like,
pictures. It doesn't
what?
make sense.
It doesn't make sense. And what Ryan sent me, he's like, I've never seen anything like this. And I'm like, that looks different than what I saw, but it was all out west. He was facing the same direction that I was. And the weird thing is that I didn't see anything. And I was like pulling stuff out of my car. I was making dinner and I just so happened to like back my head up, I think, to like, I think I like backed out to go on my front seat or something. And I look up in the sky and it's like, I think I sent you the picture of like the swirly.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, because all I could see was this light beam like moving sideways through the air. And then I looked back and it almost looked like someone was shining a spotlight on the tail. And I'm like, this doesn't make like I was tracing the pattern. I'm like, I'm standing there like, what the fuck is going on? Because I'm
Yeah.
like, none of this makes in my logical brain, I'm like, none of this makes sense.
No.
Why it's traveling sideways. It was heading south, right? West. Yeah, it was heading towards south, technically. And that like trail, you know how like chemtrails, they kind of like
Yeah.
stay in the sky for a little bit and then they evaporate or whatever. This stayed for quite a while,
Mm.
lit up. It stayed in
So
that
weird.
same pattern And everyone's like, oh, it's the SpaceX launch. And I'm like, again, with the two timeline things, I feel like we were seeing different things.
Yeah, it's just everything's super fucking weird.
Like I got weird vibes from it. And
Yeah.
then
With all the
everything,
weather stuff that's after.
well, it was that, it was the video I took of the
Hmm.
sunset with whatever the fuck was happening in the corner of that video. I caught something. I don't know what it was. I was at first I was like, "Oh, that might have been just the moon, like the light catching with the moon." And I'm like, "No, that was too far off and happened way too quick." Like I
Yeah.
caught something in the sky and then that whole thing happened like literally 15 minutes later, 20 minutes later.
I'm just like, can't wait to continue to watch this all unfold. Like,
Yeah, I'm very intrigued. I'm also like,
same.
Xenon, can you come back
Let's
here?
go.
Let's go. Let's go
Let's
see
go.
Warsaw. I
I
want to go
just
to a
have,
concert.
I literally just have Zoom, Zoom, Zoom playing in my head.
Yep.
As soon as
As
you
we're on
said
Zoom.
that, yeah.
As we're on Zoom.
Stargazing
That's cute.
Megaplex. Hit me like a cosmic flare. You know I'm gonna listen to that after we get off the call.
Oh, that I think we're both going to listen to it.
I need
This is
more
gonna be great.
coffee.
Yeah, same. I need to go get an actual coffee instead of drinking
Do No.
my healthy girl. You know, that's what happens when you get up early. I'm just like, yeah, maybe I should give my brain some mushrooms before I give it some caffeine.
Yeah.
You know, it's called self-love or something. I
Self-love,
don't know. Yeah.
self-care,
Balance.
balance,
Balance.
bitches.
On that note,
On that note, okay. Well, guys, it's been
such a
so
pleasure.
great.
Thanks for having coffee with us. If
Thanks for
you
coming. I keep saying it. I don't even mean to say it. It's like involuntary.
say it one more time.
Thanks for coming. Will you be my Valentine?
Double M.
Coming.
Coming.
There's so many M's. There's so much jizz.
Putting that jizz in the biz.
More coffee. Oh, why be serious?
Oh, why be so
Why be any other way? Well, guys, for real, thank you so much. Reach out to us anytime. Find us on TikTok. Find, all the stuff I
just
link in
find
the bio. Just find us. Come and
just
get
come
us. Let's
yeah, come be part
talk.
of the fam.
Let's
Come
hang
have
out.
coffee. Let's all
Let's
be
talk about
friends.
periods
And ghosts.
and ghosts.
Periods and ghosts. That's really
Fucking
all anybody
favorite
needs.
subject. I just light
Periods and
up when we talk
ghosts.
about supernatural things.
For the next episode, guys, maybe we'll
Are we
talk
planning it? Are
about
we planning it? No, we're not. LOL.
or not, but that would be a good topic.
We'll just keep talking about it. Okay,
The
guys.
fact that I
Love you
still have
so
my
much.
skin.
Until next time,
Until next time.
we'll see you guys. Thanks.
Love you guys.